First of all, I would just like to ask, are there any veterans in the audience?
Yes, there are.
Thank you for your service. I want to begin by saying Rotary and business networking is almost the same when you're going out to the public. Rotary is a servant's heart. You're always looking to give and not to receive. You have to have the same head of thinking with business networking. People forgot how to communicate with one another. They forgot how to network. They think everything with the cell phones and Zoom, that's networking, when they're missing the picture. You've missed the vibe of the person that you're speaking with, missing the vibe of the room that you're dealing with. And you missed it on so much when you just rely on Zoom or a cell phone. Okay, I'm gonna give you a fish story. Fish story, oh my God. Okay, Marty and Fred. Marty and Fred wanted to go fishing one day. They wanted to go for a weekend. They went up to the mountains. Marty said, okay, look, I'm gonna take the north side, you take the south side. Fred said, okay, fine, this is great. We're gonna meet afterwards for dinner, we're gonna have some fish, and we're gonna have a good time. They both came back. Marty came back with 10 fish. Fred came back with 1. He said, what's going on, Fred? What are you doing? Fred said, well, I must be on the wrong side of the lane. Okay, we're gonna switch. Tomorrow, you're gonna go north, I'm gonna take south. And they go up through the whole day. They come back, and what happens? Marty has 10 fish, Fred only has 1. What am I doing wrong? He goes, all right, let's see. What do you do when you go, when you set up? He goes, oh, I put all my stuff out, my fishing pole out, I turn my music on, and he goes, that's your problem. You're scaring away the fish. And that kind of relates to what I'm talking about. You don't want to scare away the person that you're trying to do business with. Now, I just want to say, when you're networking, I'm using networking as a term because it's either face-to-face or the general populace, okay? Or a networking event, which is what I'm keen on. Okay, your thing is, they have a problem. You have to solve it. Without that, you're nothing, okay? So if you can solve what their problem is, they're more inclined to speak with you, right? So think about that. Now, usually, people give you the tips of the whole presentation at the end, and everybody is quick. I'm giving it to you right in the beginning. These are the items I want you to remember. I want you to remember to take every opportunity to meet new people. Focus on how you can help. Not what you can get, but focus on how you can help people. Go alone to all these networking events. I put in parentheses extroverts because it's not for introverts. I'll tell you what the difference is later. But don't forget your business cards. I've been to countless networking events where I'm speaking with somebody and they say, oh, sorry, I don't have my business cards on me. Number 1 failure, okay? Be sure to meet people in other industries because not everybody, because when you network, this is the important part of business networking. When you're speaking with somebody, you're not just speaking to that person, you're speaking to their network. Because if they know somebody who can use your services, you want them to say something. And follow up properly, that's a big thing. Follow up is probably more important than just meeting the person. And thank you notes. Okay? Handwritten thank you notes. I'll get into that later on. Okay. What do you do when you meet with somebody? You smile. Right? You smile. You shake their hands firmly. Not like a dead fish. I hate when you shake hands like a dead fish. Now, eye contact. I put New York and Georgia. I'm from New York.
How you doing?
How you doing, huh? Hey. All right. If you looked at somebody in the eyes when you're walking down the street in New York, that's a problem, huh? Hey, what, you want to fight? Huh? Okay, that's the first thing that you think. But in Georgia, when I moved down to Georgia, it's completely different. I was walking in front of Kroger, Johns Creek. That's where it happened. I'm walking down, I'm looking down because I just moved here. I wasn't looking anybody in the eye. Looking down, and this gentleman stood right in front of me. I felt like, what are you doing? He goes, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? He goes, what? He goes, look up. You're missing out on everything. You're missing out on everything. And I thought about it. Again, I have my New York head on. I'm like, yeah, so what? But Georgia, I had to get used to it. So that was very important. I also learned in my years, my 100 years in business, you have to treat the janitor the same way as the CEO. That's so important. I have 1,000 acquaintances that do not follow that rule. I walked into a building. I'm not going to tell you what I was selling because it wasn't the point, but I walked to a building and I asked for Mr. Smith, the CEO. He said, in a minute, I'll tell you where he is. At that time, somebody came by, he was sweeping up, cleaning. I made a small conversation with him. Just, how you doing? Oh, that's good. How long have you been here? Oh, it's good. Everything good? Okay, good, bye. He goes, Mr. Smith is up on the 3rd floor. He's waiting for me. Okay. So I walked in, I sat down with him. We were talking about Little League at the time, because I was a director, I was on the board of Little League. We're talking about Little League and kids and everything else. And I see him do this. And I turned around, and there's the guy who's sweeping up. I thought, who's that? Because that's my brother-in-law. So I'm like, it's a good thing I said hello. But that's a whole different thing. But you never know. You never know who you're talking to. Okay? So, now, what's the first thing you realize when you're meeting with somebody? Confidence. You have to exude confidence. If you're not a confident person, you're going to have to learn, right? But you have to square your body, have a friendly expression, hands in plain sight. Ever hear about middle steeple? People keep their hands like this, right? If you look at Roof Max, this commercial, and both 3 guys standing in a row, and they all have their hands like this. My suggestion, don't do it. You're human. You want to talk with somebody. You're talking with your hands. Now, my background or somebody else's background, we're always talking with our hands. If you sit on your hands, you get tongue-tied, okay? But you talk with your hands, and that's what you should do. You should be yourself. Be authentic. Because one thing you have to remember is that if you're not authentic with one person at one event, you may meet that other person down the road, and if you weren't authentic then, what are you doing? Okay? The last one is very important. Enunciate. You have to enunciate. Because if they don't understand what you're talking about, why are you there? Okay? That's very important. Now, this is the most important slide. What do you mean, listen and pause? You have to listen to the person, not hear what they have to say. You have to listen and then pause. That pause is so important. And what does that pause tell them? That you're listening to them. Now, a good way to respond to somebody that you were listening to is that you surmise what he said and say, I understand that you're saying this. And then you go on and finish talking. But that pause, that listen and pause, becomes so very important. And the more you do it, then you'll understand how important it truly is. Oh, sorry. Family portrait. I'm the middle son. That's Scott, that's Stephen, I'm right in the middle, okay? That's my family portrait. Okay, what should you do when you're walking up to a table? You walk up to a table. You don't start talking. You listen. You listen for the conversation. Is this a conversation that I want to be part of? If it is, great. If not, You haven't said a word, politely bow out and go to the next table. All right? Very important. Because listen, I've been to 1,000 networking events, and they talk about something else, how they make apple pie. And I'm there for a reason. I want to network with people, and I don't want to deal with this. Go to another table. You listen to okay, this is for extroverts, not introverts. Extroverts, you listen for the conversation to come around. And then it is a conversation you want to deal with. So then you say something intelligent because you are the expert in your field. You say something intelligent and you see who responds to you. And when you see who responds to you, you devote your attention to those people. And here's the big thing. You let them talk. You don't talk. You don't even say anything. You let them talk. Ask about, now I use something called FORM, family, occupation, recreation, and message. I'll go into that afterwards. But I have that in my head when I'm sitting down and talking. So now they're talking. Remember, you're there with a servant's heart. So after they finish telling you everything all about themselves, what they do, how they do it, you say, you know something? I like you. I like what you do for a living. I like the way you do it. How can I make you more successful? How can I be a good referral source for you? That usually blows them away. Like, I don't even know what you do yet. That's right. So, you exchange business cards, you tell them what you do, but you go on from there.
So why extroverts?
Why extrovert? Okay, introverts, an introvert will not walk up to a table, but they're a little afraid of the people. No reason to be afraid, but listen, that's what they are. They're introverted. So so what you have to do for an introvert, I always say go alone. But for an introvert, you don't go alone. You go with somebody that knows you very well and that knows what you do very well. So when you walk up to the table and you have the conversation that comes along, and the conversation you are interested, you say, you know something? That's really good. Michael knows a lot about that. Michael, why don't you tell us a little bit about it? That's your introduction, and it eases the way back in. Okay? So it gives you help. Now, I'm in the Air Force. I was in the Air Force, so I call that bringing a wingman. Okay? So wingman has different meanings for going out to different places. I'm not going there. But that's your wingman. And if you do that several times, I don't mean several tables, but several events. Networking, communication is an art and a talent. You've got to practice. Practice. The more you practice, the better you get. Form, family, occupation, recreation. Oh, I went too far. You've gone too far. Okay. These, if you can keep form in your head when you're going up and getting ready to speak with somebody, then you've got to have it. Okay? If your mother, father, sister, brother, spouse, son, daughter, whatever. My big thing, I was part of a Little League. I was a director in a Little League. I was a baseball manager for 16 years. I then became an umpire, and I don't want to go into that. But 16 years, so my big thing was talking to them about youth sports. I was a baseball coach, football coach. I even coached basketball. Never imagined, 5'7" white guy from New York, but I'm there, okay? But I said, look, I'm going to be there for my kids. You never know. So you always have that in the back of your head, is form. So what is your goal? Your goal is to build rapport. Okay, you have to build rapport because you are having that level of trust that the wall's in front, and they're not going to let you in. So you have to reduce that wall just a little bit. And this is the way to do it. You walk into an office, you have about 30 seconds just to see what's on the walls, see what's on his desk. What's on the wall? Is there a plaque, a sports plaque? Is there a big music symbol? Is there a piece of artwork? Anything that you can associate with and you can talk to him about intelligently. Okay? Because when you first walk in, you don't want to talk business. You want to talk about everything else but business, because what does that do? That will set them a little at ease, give them a hurt at ease. So, after you build a rapport, you have to think of the mantra. If they know you, if they like you, if they trust you, they'll do business with you. Now, they know you, well, of course. You're nice people. Of course they do. Now, like you, that narrows it down just a little bit, because not everybody's going to like you. But trust you. That's the major thing, because trust is such a major factor in everything that we do. So the more somebody trusts you, then there's that wall that's coming down. That trust factor is increasing. So that is a major part. Now, before life, when I was in corporate, this was a sheet that I had with me. And it just had everything. Face-to-faces, I broke bread, number of phone calls, referral partners, past clients, current clients, events, everything had a number. And my end goal at the end of the week was to reach 100. And this is just for me. It was just me trying to say, okay, I can do better. What is a better version of myself that I can be? And this is all this is doing, is getting better. So this is the introverts and extroverts, okay? The introverts, the extroverts. I told you about the introverts. I told you about the extroverts. They're very different, but very much the same. It's just that little wingman that will help you through. All right, so now, how do you follow up? I'm gonna go into a secret sauce for follow-up. But following up immediately, you take notes on the back of the card. On the back of the business card that you're given, don't leave that alone. Don't leave that blank. You're gonna write down the date, the name of the function, and something you spoke about. Because when you get back to following up, you're gonna look at the card and go, who the hell is that? No, okay? You'll have everything right in front of you. You make your connections on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. That's a soft connect. You're just gonna reach out and say, oh, connect with them, you like them, whatever. And that is just so you can just start the relationship process. The days of building your client list is gone. The days of building relationships is here. And I say that really as of the pandemic. Because, like I said before, people look at those cell phones, look at Zoom, and they say, this is networking. Look at it. I was in a mortgage business, and I used to go to networking events. I used to come with a shoebox filled with business cards, and look how good I did. I did horrible. Now, for a 3 or 4 hour networking event, I come home with about 15 or 20 business cards. Why? Because that's a relationship that I'm building, and I'm following up with those people, and you'll see about my follow-up. And here's the kicker. Send a thank you card. A handwritten thank you card. I showed him before. In my briefcase, I have a stack of thank you cards. Dear Michael, had a great time. Hope to see you soon. Michael, whatever. Put your business card in there, mail it. Just imagine being the person sitting down and getting a thank you card in the mail. That's new. What do you mean? This is great. And it'll keep you top of mind. So, what are the steps? Okay, I'm gonna go through this really quick because it's a little bit longer. As soon as you get home, or back to the office, you're gonna send a thank you email. Hey Michael, it was great seeing you tonight. I had a good time. We'll see you soon. Michael, send it. You have about a 5% chance of them responding to you. The next morning, you send that handwritten thank you card. Handwritten. Michael, I met you on such and such date, such an event. We spoke about XYZ. Hope to see you soon. Michael, send it off. 3 or 4 days later, if you haven't gotten a return email back, then you're going to write, hey Michael, I met you on such and such date at such an event. We talked about XYZ. Just checking to see how you are. Michael, I haven't mentioned business yet. I've emailed them twice, sent 1 thank you card. All within a period of 3 or 4 days. Now notice what have I done. I've said the date, the function, and what we spoke about on everything that I sent, because this will keep you in mind. 3 days later, you still haven't sent back An email, bad people. You still haven't sent back an email, you're going to write, hey Michael, I met you on such and such day, such and such event, we spoke about X, Y, Z. Listen, Tuesday and Wednesday of next week just opened up. They're free. Are you available any of those times? Michael. 2 or 3 days later, if he hasn't sent you an email back, bad person. Okay? Hey Michael, how you doing? This is Michael. I met you on such date, such event. We spoke about X, Y, Z. And I said Tuesday and Wednesday we're open. Tuesday's getting full. How's Wednesday? Still, no response. Bad person. Okay, so you wait around 2 or 3 days and you say, hey Michael, I met you on such and such date at such and such event. We spoke about X, Y, Z. I told you Tuesday and Wednesday were okay. Tuesday's filling up. Wednesday is filling up. Is there a good date for you? Let him, and if he doesn't answer you, he's a bad person. But he goes, listen, big thing about email, just answer. If you don't have an answer, answer that, okay? But nothing worse than sending out an email and being ghosted, okay? So at least they know that you acknowledge you're a problem, but you had an answer. All right, now these are the slides I'm going to bypass because for the lack of time, they're all mistakes for follow-up. Not using a CRM. Everybody know what CRM is? CRM, okay? If you don't have it, if you're not used to using it, get one. They have them, they're free for a short time, whatever. Just to see it, use an Excel spreadsheet, something, because this will help you keep track of everybody that you're sending notes to, sending a phone call to. I use something called HubSpot. It's a CRM where I can keep all this information and all the different notes that I've sent, and the email that I've sent, and the handwritten note I've sent, everything. So for me, it's very important. Okay, finally, this is an art and a talent. Practice, practice, practice. If you're not used to going out, the first time you're going to go out, guess what? You're going to suck. That's right. Take it. Take all the information. Use it. Go to the second event, the third event, the fourth event. By the fourth event, fifth event, you're actually getting pretty good. Okay. Focus on building relationships, not customers. Remember the shoebox full of cards? That's bad. The customer, it's like nobody really, unless you're selling widgets for $3 and somebody wants to buy 2 of them, you send them and that's all right. That's a customer. You're not in the business for customers, you're in the business to build relationships. Keep in touch. I don't mean keep in touch with them every week, but if they're on your radar to do business, then you keep in touch every other week or so. If they've not answered you, or not on your radar, put them in your CRM, put them in a drip campaign, and just hit them like once a month, once a quarter. Develop a newsletter or something. I did a newsletter when I was in the mortgages, and 3/4 of the newsletter was fluff. Nothing. I had a joke, I had a recipe, I had everything else, and about 1/4 of it was information they can use. People loved it. It wasn't all business, but it wasn't all phony baloney. Okay, did I say this enough? Right-hand thank you notes? Because I can't stress this enough. It means so much. It will put you ahead of the pack. It'll keep you in mind when they forgot about everything else. Okay, last but not least, giving is the fastest way to build, right? Relationships. One thing about people, they love to buy. Everybody loves to buy, but they hate to be sold to. Okay? So if you keep that in mind, it's not really such a bad thing. Okay, so here's my QR code. If you liked what I did, do the QR code. If you didn't like what I did, shoot the QR code. If you want to see me add something, subtract something, or whatever else, but whatever it is, hit the QR code. That's it. Yes, sir.
So in June of last year, I joined other chamber up north here, I received a handwritten note from one of the people that I met. Then when I went to their first networking event, I met several other people, and two of them wrote me handwritten notes. They just met me, welcomed me, and did exactly what you're saying.
How did it make you
Try
feel?
and sell anything, they just,
How did it make you feel?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's the best. The people that I coach, I'm a coach and trainer also. So the people that I coach, this is a must. They have to do the thank you notes. And so many people react the same way you did. They absolutely love it.
It's-
Yes, old school. You have to
Which
go
is
back old
a
school.
I had to learn how to handwrite.
differentiator. It is.
Do you have any advice for us approaching, there's a lot of younger people in the marketplace now, and it's a little intimidating to approach because we don't have the same background. Do you have any thoughts about it?
Yeah, it depends on the venue. Okay, if you're in a networking event, use the same thing that I was telling you about. If you're talking with them one-on-one, think of form. Okay, because you want to get on the same level as them, no matter what it takes. They might be interested in, they might be going to college. They might be just out of college and fresh in the workplace. So for them to talk about themselves and then talk about, they're not going to talk about sons or daughters, hopefully, but sisters or brothers or mothers or fathers, that let them talk. And the more somebody talks about themselves, the lower that threshold goes and the more they trust you. Then you go on and you talk to them. But you have to have a feel. One thing you can't do through Zoom is you get a feel for the person. And once you get a feel for them, you figure out exactly what you're talking about. But let them talk as much as they want because they're happy with you. That's
Thanks,
it.
Michael, so much for
Good.
coming.